Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Nola. I am Benjamin, and today we are here at the National World War II Museum to answer the question, should I visit the World War II Museum in New Orleans? Well, before we answer that question, there's another nagging question people often ask themselves. Why New Orleans? Why is the World War II Museum in New Orleans in the first place? That is a valid question that deserves a valid answer. And I'm in Metairie Cemetery today to give you that answer. It has everything to do with the gentleman that's right behind me. That is Andrew J. Higgins. And this guy, of course, Stephen Ambrose. Andrew Higgins of Higgins Industries is the man who Dwight Eisenhower was quoted as saying, won the war for the United States and its allies. See, Higgins developed the LCVP crafts, the boats used to storm beaches in both the Pacific and Europe. Normandy, of course, being the most important. Not that many people know or realize that, of course, he developed the PT boats as well. In fact, over 200 of them. He did have a factory down on St. Charles Avenue.
But as we New Orleanians like to say, it ain't there no more.
And as for Stephen Ambrose, really the man that made this happen, Stephen Ambrose, the great historian, of course, author and visionary, was a professor at the University of New Orleans. It was really he and his team that pushed for the then D-Day Museum to open in the year 2000 in New Orleans, and it did. And in fact, it got national acclaim shortly after that and became known as the National World War II Museum. So is it something that should be on your agenda when you visit New Orleans? Well, you know what? Let's go find out.
It's probably pretty important to note that this campus is massive. You don't necessarily need to start in the first campus, which is the Louisiana Memorial Pavilion, but that is what I am doing.
I did think it very fitting. The first thing you see when you walk in are the LCVP crafts. There are multiple in this main room as you walk in. And then you actually walk over and take the departing train of the Union Pacific. This is a neat interactive display that actually allows you to have these virtual dog tags of sorts to follow an individual and their journey through the actual war.
So from time to time, the museum will have these special exhibits. This one happens to be from March 26, 2025, all the way through next year, January 11th. So if you get a chance, guys, come check this exhibit out. It's called On American Shores. Kind of give you an idea as we go along here. So right upstairs as you walk in, there's all these photos of actual survivors that are still with us today. So you can see some of these names here, guys. We're talking 101, 100, 99 years old. Just amazing that we still have these gentlemen to give us exactly what they went through on a first-hand account. And ladies, by the way, don't want to forget, like Ms. Jeannie Gibson here at 98 years old. Amazing stuff.
I'll note one of the first takeaways when visiting the museum is the sheer size and scale of the museum seems a bit overwhelming at first, but as you start to get through here and notice the timeline and how intricate the details really are, in this case, from the very beginnings of the regime to, of course, our involvement beginning after Pearl Harbor, the details are tremendous.
And here in this almost the last great industry we thought could be handled only by men, these mothers, wives, and sweethearts came to stand shoulder to shoulder with them in almost every capacity.
How do you feel about it? Think we're going to win?
They have quite, I mean, it's very boring.
Sure is. It's 12:30 today.
Apparent colder Sunday. Temperature 0 to 12:11 in the morning. Rising a little during the day. Wind 8 to 1 mile. I also congratulate as expedited as James Myers and only 27.
This is one of the most amazing things. One of the most amazing things is the manufacturing efforts. And this is such an amazing exhibit. Give you an idea of what went on the home front.
The fiasco of World War I cannot be repeated, when tons of materials sat idly on docks, never to reach the troops. The complex logistics of distribution fall to the branch of the
course,
Army
here in New
known as
Orleans,
the Quartermaster Corps, which develops a vast, well-oiled system. The long journey from the factories begins on America's sprawling freight train network.
This section did hit home a bit. I recently learned that my grandfather on my father's side, who had my father later in life, was a merchant marine. He shipped out of New York, and although he wasn't killed in battle, he did die from complications due to the shrapnel he got during the war.
If we are to stand any chance of emerging victorious, the United States will have to build the most powerful arsenal the world has ever seen. Our scientists and engineers must develop advanced technologies. We must muster and train 15 million men and women against common Japanese aid. American cities will be required to secure shipping lanes to transport troops and equipment. Enemy supply lines with our submarines. Our pilots must take control of the skies and move forward as the events are campaigns on land and sea. So that the
In the summer of 1942, the Japanese are on the other side, the U.S. must launch its first land offensive. The Americans intend to halt the Japanese advance and protect their allies by sending in the Marines to seize the airfield on Guadalcanal. No one expects this fight to last very long.
The tremendous detail is just unreal what they've done in here. To say this is special is just not giving it any due.
Boy, they started running toward us down that river right there on that boy. We
several.
We have a lot of wounds. Our guys are suffering from frostbite and trench foot.
We've been caught flat-footed. It should have occurred to us that Hitler might do something crazy and desperate.
In the midst of devastating losses and retreat, I now call emergency meeting for Valley Commander. He tells General Matt.
George, I want you to move your zone north when you attack. Stalingrad. Rotterdam. Centuries of human.
This might be one of the most interesting things. This gentleman, Sam Cordova, Corporal, was Jewish, and he was buried under a Latin cross, and then 79 years later, they replaced it with a Star of David. Amazing. I really don't know if the camera is catching the size of this theater. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest. There's a viewing bridge at the very top of the Boeing Center, which I've just got to go do. Needless to say, if you are not a fan of heights, it's might not be your jam. Oh, wow.
This actually was included in the regular price of admission. There are a couple of shows that actually it is an extra charge for them. But this one was included, and this was pretty neat to be able to experience what it was like to be in a battle, a submarine battle at that. So I thought this was very interactive and one of the coolest exhibits in the entire museum.
So I should note that not included in your ticket is 2 separate shows. They're both $9 a piece, just FYI. Guys, I'm filming this while they're doing the renovations of the Solomon Victory Theater, where the Beyond All Boundaries is shown. But it should be open, they're saying September 15th, so should be done with this. Once I release this, should just about be open.
If you did want to spend the entire day, you're likely going to have to stop for a bite to eat, and there's a pretty elaborate menu over at the American Sector Restaurant and Bar. You've got a couple of Cajun and Creole classics on that menu, and of course, do want to mention the cocktails as well. I opted today to go with the feeling nostalgic, the All-American Burger here, which was pretty good, actually. So if you do want to stay in and have lunch here, you can. Of course, there are quite a few restaurants within walking distance that we normally suggest as well. I had to see, and I think you should too, the PT-305, nicknamed USS Sudden Jerk. This was actually built by Higgins Industries in New Orleans, and it served in the Mediterranean. This was a 10-year restoration process from 2007 to 2017, and it is now on display, and it is quite beautiful. So I definitely suggest seeing this before you finish your day.
Yeah, I should probably mention, and you may want to look this up with the museum before you come. I should probably mention that there are group tours that take off. I believe they're 2-hour experiences, and they happen twice a day. I want to say it's 10 and 2 o'clock, but again, you want to make sure those hours are correct. Also, if you're looking for a private experience, they do offer those as well. The pricing does vary though, depending on the group size, and of course timing and whatnot, but they can certainly custom tours to your liking. All right, well, that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you guys got an idea. I hope I was able to give you some kind of idea of how much there is to do inside of the World War II Museum here. All right, so we started this vlog with a question: should I visit the World War II Museum in New Orleans? And I think you guys know that the answer to that is a resounding absolutely yes. So I appreciate everyone tuning in today here. I know this is a little different than what we normally do, guys, but I did want to come and do this, and I wanted to start a series on this channel that's going to focus on some of the museums, if not all the museums, that we believe you should take some time to come and visit. This one, certainly the top of the list here. So thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. And as always, c'est la vie.